I 19 female come from a super religious family where everyone marries fast through matchmakers. I'm the black sheep because I left religion and started dating casually. My sister Marie 25 female is the family favorite, beautiful, smart, outgoing, but she struggled to find a husband. After a string of failed matches, she finally got engaged last month to Christopher 30 male. Everyone was relieved because she'd been trying for so long. I was happy for her, until I met the fiancé. Christopher and I hooked up last year. For context, the age gap between us isn't the issue, so please don't bring it up. We met at a party, and despite being religious, he's divorced and didn't seem concerned about staying pure. We hooked up 5 times. He was my first everything, kiss, hookup, all of it. After the 5th time, he said he was falling for me, but I wasn't looking for anything serious, so I ended things before it got too complicated. Especially because I knew he wanted to eventually get remarried, and I was not the girl for that. We hadn't seen each other since, until Marie brought him home as her fiancé. The second we locked eyes, I knew we were both thinking, oh, sh*. Later that night, Christopher pulled me aside, begging me not to tell Marie. He said it meant nothing, it was in the past, and telling her would only ruin her happiness. He texted and called me for a week, saying how much Marie had been through and how I'd destroy her life if I told her. I kept my mouth shut at first. I didn't want to hurt her. But the guilt was eating me alive, like I was watching her walk into a disaster. I felt like she deserved to know. So, I told her. At first, Marie didn't believe me. She said I was trying to sabotage her happiness because I couldn't stand being single. I had to show her the texts and photos to prove it. When she finally accepted the truth, she lost it. She confronted Christopher, and he denied everything, until she shoved the evidence in his face. Marie called off the engagement. That's when things really hit the fan. My parents and some relatives told me I should have kept quiet. They said I'd ruined Marie's one shot at happiness and called me selfish for interfering. Now, I'm not even invited to the wedding. Yep, they got back together, but I'll get to that. It gets worse. While Marie and Christopher were dating, he randomly called me, saying he wanted to reconnect. He was rather vague, but it was obviously a booty call. I didn't know he was dating at the time, and definitely didn't know he was dating my sister. I let him down firmly and didn't engage, because I had no interest. After telling Marie about our hookup, I mentioned this call because I thought she should know he wasn't as faithful while they were dating as she thought he was, but that backfired spectacularly. Marie accused me of making up lies to tear them apart. Christopher denied everything and said I was obsessed with him. Marie sided with him and called me, quote, a desperate home-wrecking whore. Since I deleted my call history, I had no proof. It became a he said, she said situation, and Marie believed him. Now, Marie and Christopher are back together, and they're getting married. She showed up at my apartment a few weeks after the fight, crying. Apparently, Christopher convinced her that what happened between us was just a meaningless mistake and that it made him realize how much he wanted to be with her. I tried to explain that he had told me he was falling for me, not to make it seem like he still liked me, just to show her he's lying to her about what he felt for me, but she just got angrier and called me a jealous liar and some other pretty names I won't repeat before storming out. Now I'm completely cut off from family events. My parents say I've caused enough damage, and extended family members are calling me a slut both behind my back and to my face. Every attempt I've made to explain myself has been shut down. So yeah, they're getting married anyway. And here I am, wondering if I just blew up her engagement for nothing. Should I have just stayed quiet? Did I do the right thing, or did I just ruin my relationship with my family for no reason?
AITA for giving a friend a bill after hosting him? A friend came to visit my country for 10 days and stayed with me and my partner. To show his gratitude, he brought us 4 bottles of wine, around 6 to 8 euros each. We drove him for over 1,000 kilometers for a few days to take him on adventurous trips around the country. It's usually expensive to rent a 4x4 and hire a tour guide here. We were essentially his driver, tour guide and host. We prepared a guest room for him with toiletries in his own bathroom, made all bookings, and prepared camping gear for him. I thought the wine he brought would even out our service for him, and we picked him up at the airport at 4:30 a.m. to be a good host. However, every time I took out my card to pay for our meals, he sat silently. I was happy to treat him for the first meal or two as a host, but after 6 days, his silence unsettled me. The same when we had to pay for attractions, gas, or groceries. I admit I was never upfront with him about finances. I just assume as an adult in his 30s with a professional job in Germany, he would offer to pay for his share, chip in, or take turns to pay for meals. He also never mentioned paying us back for the hotels we paid for him. I consulted him on the prices before booking, so he should know he had to pay. He only brought $200 cash here, and his hotels were already over $200. He didn't seem to plan to pay us back in cash. I was antsy. He also rented a sedan for city sightseeing in between, but the car rental was at the airport. We gave him a ride to the airport at first, and he hinted he wanted more rides from us to take him home after he dropped off the car, and a ride to the airport for his 4:20 a.m. flight. I told him to take a taxi, it's less than €6. On his last day, a few hours before he flew, we presented him with a bill for his hotel, meals and groceries. He seemed taken aback. We told him we spared the gas in exchange for his wine. AITA for giving him a bill that listed out all his expenses? As a host I should be more gracious, but his silence, not even a thank you, upset me and made me give him a bill. This person is not close to me. We met on a trip 8 years ago and hadn't seen each other for 6 years. He was interested in seeing my country. I can't believe I'm the a-hole here after going above and beyond for a person. We saved him probably $300 to $400 for this trip and did numerous favors for him. This person didn't offer once to share gas for a long road trip, to share anything with us, or to at least pay for his own expenses. The hotel shouldn't have been assumed as a gift. It's obvious. We also told him about the prices of everything up front. Yet, when he heard something cost $XX and we had to pay, he sat silently. We decided to give him that bill because we reminded him on day 6 to pay for his hotel. He did nothing. We went camping on day 8, and he prepared no food or drinks to share and only ate what we brought. At this point this was very poor manners. We, the hosts, shouldn't have had to ask twice for hotel payments. We also saved him quite a bit with our resident discounts. The bill was less than $50 excluding the hotels. He's on a budget, so we only took him to dirt cheap places to eat. I was going to let that slide to pay that $50 if he was grateful, but not a token of gratitude really upset me, hence the bill. He could have picked up a $8 meal just for once after 7 meals, you know? And the gall to ask us for rides to the airport on his last day when a taxi ride would be just $5. If you're this cheap and ungrateful, I would give you a bill and make you reimburse us. He came here as a sad puppy after his breakup, and we were extra nice to him and tried to distract him with amazing nature here. If he came with a partner, they'd on mostly on their own.
Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe Reddit listener.